So again, welcome. My name is Dr. Maria Pertels-Ramito. I am the Family and Consumer Sciences agent at the University of Florida, and I teach a variety of classes, but welcome to Cleaning Without Chemicals. This is a very full hour. I'm going to just kind of take my time going through it, even though I know we're starting 7 minutes late. Again, if you need to pop off, that's fine. No worries. And please private chat me your email address or email me directly if you'd like all the supporting documents that go along with this class. So the University of Florida is a land-grant university, and we support many programs here in our office, not just my program, the Family and Consumer Sciences, but we also have Green Business, 4-H, Florida Microplastics, the Family Nutrition Program, and so forth. We are a Justice for All university and an equal opportunity institution. So let's get started. Here's what we're going to cover today. Green cleaning, we're going to actually define what does that really mean, what makes products hazardous, why should we consider the alternative? If any of you are familiar with the term greenwashing, we'll talk about the 7 sins of greenwashing, some green logos, what to look for, what not to look for. It's something new that I've added to this program or to this presentation is really talking about clutter and how we can reduce clutter in our homes, how to safely use and store and dispose of chemicals that we already have in our home, how to go green. So I will give you some recipes at the end of the presentation in those supporting documents that will give you those recipes to go green and some ingredients to use as alternatives. So I always start off with a couple of questions. Now, when you answer these, just think in your mind, you don't have to put it in chat or anything like that, but in your mind, how many chemicals do you think are found in the average household? 50, 200, 300, 400. And when you think about that question, think about all the rooms of your house, from your garage to your kitchen, to your laundry room, to a bathroom, even to your living space. Well, the answer to that is more than 400, and that might surprise you. And maybe it doesn't. What was the average amount spent on laundry and cleaning supplies in the year 2021? I know we've had a lot of inflation, but in 2021, the average household, how much do you think the average household spent on cleaning supplies? Well, the answer is C, about $178 a year on those supplies. Most household cleaning products are reasonably safe when used as directed. True or false? True. The problem is that most people don't want to read the label. And with that, accidents and misuse and so forth can happen. What percentage of household products claim to be green? Believe it or not, 95% of products claim to be green, but what percentage of products on the market are legitimately green when they make their claims? Only 4.5%. So you see there's a lot of room for some education so that we can decipher which products are truly green and are more chemical free than other products. So let's start by defining what green cleaning is all about. It's just an alternative to conventional cleaning products. Green cleaning products protect our health and the environment. And they do so by reducing the use of products containing these harmful chemicals while still removing contaminants such as particles like dirt or particulates bacteria and viruses, and controlling moisture that can cause mold. So think about this in your home. Do you use chemicals in your home? Well, chances are we all do. If so, what are some of the chemicals you use? So think about that a moment. Think about your garage. Think about your kitchen. Think about your bathroom and perhaps your laundry room. It might surprise you, but some common household chemicals that we use could be paint and solvents, pesticides, glues, vehicle products and cleaners that maybe we're storing in our garage, kitchen and oven cleaners, bleach and disinfectants, furniture and shoe polish, toilet and drain cleaners. Of course, you most likely thought of your laundry and your dish detergents, but did you think about batteries or nail polish and nail polish remover? And of course, any gardening chemicals and fertilizers that you might be using. So what makes a product hazardous? So there's a lot of household cleaning products that do contain dangerous ingredients that are caustic, solvents, and what's called volatile organic compounds. So what is caustic? They're just chemicals found in oven cleaners, drain cleaners, scouring powders that can cause burns or severe damage to the skin and eyes. And many times when you do use a product that is caustic, it will ask you to cover your eye for eye protection, use gloves, rubber gloves if you're going to use it, or a mask. Solvents are fast-drying substances that dissolve another substance, like a paint thinner. But also think about solvent being your nail polish remover. Inhalation of these vapors or accidentally drinking them. And you might think, how are you going to accidentally drink that? Because many times people will place these products in other containers and not label them properly. But drinking them can not only be harmful, but even fatal. And long-term exposure to some of these solvents can cause liver, kidney problems, birth defects, and central nervous system disorders, as well as cancer. And some formulations of furniture polish, silver cleaner, and I know many of us don't have silver anymore, but I know my mom did, paint remover, and wood floor wax all contain solvents. So it's always a good idea when you're at the grocery store or wherever you are purchasing your chemical to do a specific job, to always turn around and see what's in the ingredients and what's on that label. So what makes a product hazardous? And many times people hear the word volatile organic compound and they think, oh, it's organic. It must be safe. So what is VOCs? They're carbon-based chemicals that form vapors at room temperature. Most solvents are classified as VOCs in that they can easily evaporate into the air. But there are two predominant sources. One, it releases toxic gases from synthetic materials like foams and plastics. So if you purchased recently or in the last several months furniture or some type of carpeting, and that the carpeting padding, and maybe you smelt that off-gassing, those are VOCs. The use of toxic cleaning products and other household chemicals. So as a rule, if you're smelling something, it's a VOC. So think about some of the products you might be purchasing that do say it has a flowery scent. Okay, that's a VOC that they are using in that product. So they can harm not only our environment, but they can also harm us because they are toxic, which is poisonous, flammable, corrosive. They can cause burns and chemically reactive. So if ever you turn over the can or the box that you're purchasing, and you see any of these symbols, then you know that these are warnings to make sure to read the directions so that you are using the product correctly. So poisonous or poison means that it's highly toxic. Danger means that it's extremely flammable, which means don't use a match nearby. Corrosive or highly toxic. Warning, and this is kind of an oxymoron, right? Warning or caution is less toxic. To me, it's still toxic. So of course, we always want to read the label. And many times we are using products and we don't even think about perhaps turning the product or the can over to see if any of these symbols are on that on the label. I've lost my cursor. There we go. So why clean without chemicals? Because of health problems, and also they can harm our environment. A Harvard School public health report concluded that 80,000 to 100,000 chemicals in global use, that perhaps 25% of those are capable of harming human brains, especially our young developing brains of our children. So some common household reactions to using these chemicals that maybe you don't even think about. You might attribute them to something else. Now, of course, skin and eye irritation, if you spray on an oven cleaner or some type of cleaner, and all of a sudden you are feeling the effects of the skin or on the eyes, of course, you can associate that with what you've just used. But respiratory issues or tract irritation, head, you might not attribute your headache to something that's being used in the home because it might linger in the air for an hour or so, and then 20, 30 minutes later, you begin to feel that headache. But dizziness, visual disorders, memory impairment, and reproductive health issues. So there's a lot of things that using these chemicals, even when we do use them safely, can cause health issues. And we have to think about our children's health, because in proportion to their body size, children breathe, eat, and drink more than we do. Their behaviors can increase their potential exposure because they're crawling. They're always picking things up off of that floor, putting it to their mouth. And even if they are walking, they're just closer to the floor. And their bodies are still developing and growing. And it's up to us to make sure as adults that we keep our homes safe. And we have to also think about our pets, because many times you take your pet and you notice that they're itching or scratching, and you take your pet to the vet, and they might say, it's an allergy. Well, it could be an allergy, absolutely, but it also could be attribute itself to a chemical that's being used in the home. So reasons to switch to cleaning without chemicals: they're not toxic, biodegradable, they're phosphate free. Now, not everything is all this, but many of the products will claim to be some of these. They might be bleach free, dye free, and always look for products that are dye free. Petroleum free. They're easy to make. They certainly are easy to make, and they are very inexpensive. When you think a can of a certain product can cost you $7, $8, $9, and something else that you make from home ingredients can cost you just maybe pennies, or say 25 cents, 50 cents, and so forth. You don't need to use any protective equipment, no mask, no eye protection, no rubber gloves. And it decreases the risks of harm to humans and pets. And it's also much more environmentally safe. So there is something out there called greenwashing, and maybe many of you have heard it, heard the term before, and maybe you've researched the term. But greenwashing is just different organizations that disseminate disinformation to the public to present the idea that that organization is environmentally responsible. And they do that with the 7 sins of greenwashing. And we're going to go through each of those 7 sins in just another slide. But more than 95% of consumer products do claim to be green, when actually only 4.5% of them are. And look at the bottom of your screen, those common stamps of approval. And don't they look legitimate? I mean, 100% approved, 100% pure. We're certified green, and so forth. So they're very, they provide, or they lead you to believe that you are buying something that is truly green when you are not. And in a few more slides, I'm going to show you what true green labels look like. And you'll see the difference, how closely they resemble these labels. So the 7 sins of greenwashing is the hidden trade-off, and we're going to go through each of these. No proof, vagueness, they're irrelevant or meaningless claims, lesser of 2 evils, false claims, and just regular misleading labels. So let's go through the first one, the hidden trade-off. Does the product focus only on 1 or 2 environmental issues while ignoring others? So think of when we make, or when companies create or make paper. They're using chlorine when they bleach the paper, but they're really leaving out the whole idea that there's a greenhouse gas emission from using that. The no proof refers to unproven environmental claims. A product states a certain percentage of post-consumer recycled content, but does not provide the evidence of where that recycled content comes from. And a common example would be when you go to purchase a box of facial tissues or toilet tissue, but there's no evidence, nor if you research that, will they provide you evidence of that truly being recycled. Vagueness is just a poorly stated, a poorly defined statement, or it's just too broad. And I hate the word when they use natural or all natural. And you'll see that too, not only in products, but you see that in the agricultural world. And if any of you ever took any of my presentations on saving money at the grocery store and so forth, or food safety, they can use that word without substantiating it. So with chemicals, it's, when you think about the vagueness portion, when they use the word all natural, if you would say, okay, well, arsenic, uranium, mercury, formaldehyde, yes, those are all naturally made and they're naturally occurring, but they are very poisonous and something you would not assume as being safe, right? So the word natural doesn't mean very much. Irrelevant or a meaningless claim is a claim that's truthful, but unimportant or unhelpful to seeking proof, like when it says that it's CFC free. CFC was banned decades ago. So if they're claiming it's CFC free, it better be, because that's a federal law. The lesser of 2 evils, the claim may be true, but the greater environmental impact is completely ignored, like fuel-efficient SUVs. They can get 15 miles an hour a gallon versus 11 miles an hour a gallon in a regular vehicle. Is that truly fuel efficient when we can purchase cars that get much, much higher miles per gallon? False claims. This gives the impression through words or images, pictures, where none really exists. So maybe on that label, the label might be green, filled with flowers or butterflies, and it leads you to believe that this product is environmentally responsible, but basically it's just a fake. And then, of course, our misleading labels, excuse me, and misleading labels just tend to lead you to thinking that this product is green when in actually it is not at all. And again, it can be done in through words and so forth, or designs. So some common words that you might find on your label to give the impression that the product is green is the word natural. That is about the number one word. Eco-safe, earth smart, and maybe you've seen these too on some of the labels. Ozone friendly, earth friendly, biodegradable, environmentally safe, and environmentally friendly. And there's more out there. It's just these are the ones that I came up with and the ones that I've seen in the market. So why look for green logos? These products are certified and they will not contain toxic compounds, carcinogens, corrosive ingredients, reproductive toxins. They're not going to be combustible, and it won't provide, or it won't give you skin or eye irritants. And here are those green labels to look for. And if you have your phone out, this is a good slide to take a picture of. Because again, when you get into the marketplace, you can see how a lot of these labels are, well, they're all of them are green. Some have green and blue in them, but you can see how they do look quite similar to the ones I showed you that are false green labels. But let's go through these labels and talk about them. So the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, was established by President Nixon in 1970, and the agency conducts environmental assessments, research, and education. And it is responsible for maintaining and enforcing these national standards. So if a product has that symbol on it, you should be able to trust it 100%. The EPA develops mandatory federal standards for safe drinking water, toxic substance control, and solid waste disposal. Then there's the EPA also came out with Safer Choice EPA, and this helps the consumer and businesses find products that are safer for human health and the environment. Of course, participation here is voluntary. Products must pass a stringent criteria to earn this label and conduct annual audits to ensure standards are met. And now when these audits come through, these audits are done by third-party audits. They're not done by the company itself, right? That can lend itself to some problems. The Green Seal. The Green Seal is just a nonprofit organization that uses science-based programs. It empowers consumers and companies to create a more sustainable world. And here, these green seals will protect aquatic life, and they will be biodegradable. Green Guard. That was founded in 2001, again, with the same mission as all of them, to improve human health and the quality of life by enhancing indoor air quality and reducing those exposure to chemicals. Again, free resources for choosing healthier products and materials for indoor environments. You know, you can go online and type in Green Guard, and you will come up with an array of websites that will list out some of the resources that are available for you. Then when we go to purchase our rugs, there's something that's called the Green Label Plus for our Carpet and Rug Institute. It was founded in 1992. But what it does, it will test carpet cushions and adhesives to help suppliers identify products with very low emissions of VOCs. Now, whenever you are going out into the marketplace to purchase carpet and rug, you are going to pay more for these products, right? Because to gain this certification, it's going to cost that institute, or excuse me, it's going to cost that supplier more money to go through this more stringent testing. And that's going to be true with all of these products. Whenever you see any of these labels, you will be paying more for those products, but you can trust that this product is safer to use. Now, the Eco logo, excuse me, was founded in 1988, and it is really the most respected of all the labels besides the EPA. And it assures that products and services bearing this logo meet those stringent standards. Again, you will pay more for anything that has the Eco logo on it. And I want to point out that in that logo, it does look like a maple leaf when in actual, it is actually 3 birds placed together. And I know that, like, really, is that very important? Well, it isn't, except when you're out in the marketplace and you see how closely different logos resemble one another. It is easy to remember that it is 3 birds that look like a maple leaf. So where do you start? You know, I mean, you have a household of chemicals. How do you start? By cleaning, or at least using less chemicals in your home. Of course, we want to start simple. And the best way to start simple is maybe include household plants that help clean the air. Reduce and use what you already have. Don't go throwing it away, just reduce it. And if you don't feel comfortable using it, maybe give it to a neighbor or a friend or family member. Look for those green logos for your next purchase, and reduce the amount of clutter in your living space. We also want to think beyond chemicals by using those high filtration vacuum cleaners, those HEPA filters. They're wonderful. People sometimes complain at how expensive they can be, but it does catch all of the particulates and bacteria that can be found not only on the floor, but in the air, and it doesn't re-release them back into the environment. Think about using microfiber cloths and mops, and even microfiber paper towels. Household plants that clean the air. And again, we're going to talk in a few more slides about reducing clutter in our living space. So 2 popular plants, and I will say that are fairly easy to grow if I can grow them, and I have no green thumb. I think you can be successful too, but the 2 of them are the spider lily. It's easy to grow, and it does require just a very little attention, and the peace lily as well. But if you suffer with any kind of allergens because of pollen, remember, these plants can be flowering plants, and you might want to select a different plant. Oh, we have somebody coming in. All right, so household plants that clean the air, they have found that they will take out of our environment things like formaldehyde that can be found in pressed wood and our furniture and fabrics, benzene that's found in our plastics that we use, detergents and dyes, acetone that's found in cosmetics and paints, inks and varnishes, ammonia that can also be found in soil, water, and household cleaners. And carbon monoxide, which is colorless and odorless, and it's a toxic gas that can be found in vehicle exhausts. But also, if you're living up north, if you have a furnace, here in Florida, we don't really have furnaces, but if you do have a furnace, carbon monoxide could be an issue. So some common outdoor air cleaning plants could be the aloe vera, because not only does the aloe vera clean the air, but its juice can be used to ease the pain from minor burns, such as sunburn, as well as those minor scrapes. I know I always have family coming down in the winter months getting sunburn. I have a wonderful aloe vera plant out of my lanai that I'm always cutting and using for their sunburn. But there's also the Chinese evergreen, the heartleaf philodendron, and the hybrid philodendron, if you are interested in planting these outdoors or even indoors. But we want to think of not only about not using chemicals, but one easy thing we can do, or fairly easy thing we could do, is think about our clutter. Now, these photographs are pretty severe, and this is probably a homes or photos of hoarders. Now, I suspect most of us don't fall into that category, right? And if you ever went into a hoarder's home, the last thing you want to do is start cleaning up and throwing things away. You will be causing more harm than you will good, because hoarding is such an emotional event. But if you do find that your home has areas that could be cleaned, or could have clutter, that does have clutter that could be reduced, here are some tips. And I will say that picture of that desk, my desk is sometimes, certain times of the year, can come close to that. So what contributes to clutter? Well, too much stuff. Hey, think about this. We are bombarded all day long on our phones, on our TV, in magazines, in stores, to purchase more, purchase this, because this is going to make your life easier, simpler, better, right? So we're always getting the messaging to purchase more things. And then we bring these things home, and now we're starting to run out of room. But maybe there's no system in place to stay organized, because that's half the battle, creating that system. Maybe you have emotional attachment to items, or you just have a lack of storage. Maybe there's scheduled changes that's occurring in your life. Hobbies that need its proper place, and we're going to talk about each of these. And when you do have an area in your home that needs tending to, it is easy not to have any motivation at all to start going through those items and getting rid of some things and organizing them. And maybe they create anxiety and just get you overwhelmed. Or you're afraid of feeling guilty or being judged by others. You don't want people to come into your home because you don't want them to see. Or maybe you don't want somebody to help you, or maybe there isn't anyone to help you, but you don't want to invite a friend over because you don't want them to see what your room looks like, and you're afraid of feeling just guilty. So let's start with our closets. And how do we handle that? Well, first of all, don't think you've got, don't create a big project when you really can make it as simple as possible. If you do feel a day where you want to tackle a closet, then just tackle a closet. Don't think that you want to do all of your closets at once, but inventory the items in your closet and create 3 piles, right? The keep pile, the donate pile, and the uncertain. Usually that uncertain pile are those items that you might be emotionally attached to. And go through, take out every item out of your closet and place them into a pile. They say now that we should follow that 2-year idea, that if you haven't worn it or used it in 2 years, then really you should think about placing it in the donate pile. Maybe there's a weight change. So think realistically. I put on 40 pounds. Am I really going to lose that 40 pounds and fit into those pair of jeans all over again? So think realistically, even though I know many times we have purchased expensive clothing in our youth, and then weight change happens, and our bodies reorganize themselves, right? And to where the weight goes. Don't go beating yourself up if you can't get into the clothes, right? Be realistic. If you are going through a linen closet and you do have old towels or odd colored items or things that are shredding at the ends, at the edges, think about donating those to animal shelters. They love to receive old towels and so forth. They need them, they use them. And you know that when you do donate them, that they are going to a good purpose. And think about the use of an organizational system. And it doesn't have to be an expensive storage system. But certainly on this photograph, using that plastic bin, it doesn't do anything, because all it does is take up space and leave a huge gap where something else can be in its place. So think strategically if you're going to reorganize and purchase a storage system. So if there is a lack of an organizational system, think about what you use most often and make sure that whatever you do use most often, place it where you can use it and get to it easily. If you have to put it way up high and think about, oh, I don't feel like going up, I don't want to get on a step stool, then place it where you can reach it easily. Spend time thinking, organizing around your natural habits. Many times I've gone into my friends' homes, and they have placed, they receive a set of dishes from their mother that they love. It's an emotional attachment, and they store it in premium cabinets, right? Where instead of storing it away somewhere where perhaps you're going to use it once a year, twice a year, they're placing it where everyday dishes should be placed. So items that are used seasonally should be stored in areas with similar use. So if there is a closet in your home that you have decorations for the holidays, maybe that's the closet that you keep with all those types of storage of those decorations. And discard items of no use to your lifestyle and habits. And when you do pull down those holiday decorations, that's a great opportunity at that time to discard what you're not going to use anymore. Organize one room and one drawer at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself thinking I'm going to do my whole closet and my whole bedroom. Then there's that emotional attachment to items, and this is where it really hurts. You don't want to part with something due to that attachment, right? So perhaps something you can think about is, especially if it's an item that can be displayed, like a figurine, a piece of art, a rug, and so forth. Decide on what you want to display and maybe rotate that. So if there's several items, maybe rotate it during this month or this season to then something else on another season. Take photos of those items to preserve as a memory and pass that item on to a relative, a child, or a friend. And if your children are like my children, my kids have already said, I don't want anything in your house. Okay. That might be true today, but there might come a day when you might want something. So what I've decided to do is I gift my children something personal that I think that they would treasure once I'm gone. And that way they're not going to get rid of it, right? They're going to store it and have it. And I figure what they do with it beyond my gifting it to them is just don't tell me what you're going to do with it. But I do believe that they will save it. You can always donate, discard, or even sell the item. If you have a lack of storage and you need to consider purchasing proper storage items that meet your needs. And here again, you don't need to go and find a company to come in and organize your closet and give you beautiful closet spaces. And you've seen those companies out there that advertise to do so. It might be simple as like what's pictured here, just buying those plastic bins at a store and using those and labeling those items. But items used most often should be stored out of sight, but very easily accessible, and label those things. Take regular inventory. And again, if you're not using anything in there, get rid of it. Sometimes I'm like, well, I'm going to use all these items. And then I find that I don't. And the items that I don't use are at the very bottom of the bin. Proper storage makes your home not appear as cluttered. So whether you're using big storage items like at the top photo or those smaller items, containers at the bottom, they're all good ideas, but those at the bottom you are not transparent. So those would need to be labeled. Schedule changes, life happens, our schedules changes. Rooms used most often like a kitchen and living area, bedroom, laundry, can clutter very, very easily, right? They become drop-off zones. Before leaving a room, try to put items away in its proper place. I know in the evening before I head off to bed, I take a quick run around the house, put away whatever I have the energy to put away, because if I don't, I'll find that it's waiting for me the next day with even more things to put away. Designate drop-off zones for keys and shoes and phones, your purses and wallets, and ask for help. So ask those other family members in your household to help you, so that when their shoes come in the house, that they put them in the appropriate place, or that all phones go in appropriate place, or that wallet goes in the same place every time it comes home, and the purse in the same place. And that way you won't lose it. Assign responsibilities to keeping certain areas tidy. Create a system for displaying and storing those seasonal items. And remember, most importantly, be kind to yourself. I don't know if anyone's home has ever looked like a magazine 365 days a year, right? I just entertained over the weekend. I am still putting away dishes, platters, and so forth. Should I have done that on Sunday and yesterday? Absolutely. But you know what? I didn't, and I'm going to, and I am trying to be kind to myself. Hobbies. Here's where we really get caught, especially if you have children, right? Their sports equipment or your husband's sports equipment or your sports equipment. All of a sudden, we're bringing in soccer balls and baseball bats or golf clubs, tennis rackets, and so forth into the house, and we don't have anywhere to place it. But maybe you love to scrapbook or puzzle, toys for children. Oh my goodness, right? Those finding available space to store the toys that are easily accessible to the child, but yet out of the way so nobody trips and falls. Crafts, even collecting books, all can create clutter. So decide what you're going to keep and discard or you're going to donate. And I really like this shelving system. It is very simple. They took those metal bars and they just put the attached shelves to them, and they organized the items that are kept in their garage. So it doesn't have to be expensive, but create specific places to store these items, and consider installing things like hooks and cubbies, and so forth. And assign, again, those responsibilities to placing the items where they belong. So if kids are coming into the house with their cleats and their footballs, make sure that everything is stored where it needs to be stored, and they should be responsible for that. But before you get started to clean anything, you always want to plan ahead. Make a schedule, make a task list for each room, and allocate time for each task. This helps you stay on track and ensure that you're able to clean everything you need in that allotted time. Gather your supplies and make sure that you have all the necessary cleaning supplies, because nothing's worse than starting something out. I'm good with this. Like, I have a vacuum with a HEPA filter only to see the little light come on to say that the filter needs to be changed, and I don't have a new filter, right? So I gathered my supplies, but I didn't do it in time. So now I forego doing it, because now I need to go and purchase a new HEPA filter. So make sure that you have all your supplies in place. Declutter the room before you start cleaning by removing any unnecessary items. This will make it easier for you to clean and helps you see what needs to be done. And then prioritize. Focus on the most important tasks first. And it should be the dirtiest room first. Typically, this could be your kitchen, and then the bathroom, and so forth. Get help if possible. Enlist the help of family members or friends to make the cleaning process even go more efficiently. And start at the top. People are like, what do you mean by that? Well, start cleaning at the top and work your way to the bottom, cleaning the tallest item first. So if you're going to clean a bedroom and your bedroom has a ceiling fan, clean the ceiling fan first, because you know that dust will fall onto the ground, right? And then once it does, then at the end, as we work our way down, then mop or vacuum your floors accordingly. So how do we store household chemicals? We want to make sure that we store them properly, use chemicals safely, and dispose them safely as well. So how do we store chemicals properly? Always store those chemicals in a dry place away from heat and flames. If you are living in Florida, you know how hot our garages can get, well into the 90s. Even I've seen garages go up to 100 degrees. Keep products in their original container. Don't go taking a plastic container or another container and pouring those products in and then not labeling them. That's how accidents occur. And if transferring it to another container, make sure you relabel it. Keep it tightly closed, and keep the chemicals, of course, out of the reach of children. Use them safely by always reading the directions on the container. Never mix products. We know, like, mixing things like ammonia and bleach can send you to the hospital. Do not use more than recommended by the manufacturer. And this is something I talk about a lot in my classes that talk about sanitizing solutions. I find that many people just indiscriminately pour bleach on things, and there is correct proportions in using bleach. And really, when we make these proportions, it's using 1 or 2 teaspoons or tablespoons to a quart or 2 quarts of water. So it's just a very small amount. Never indiscriminately pour a product or a chemical. And again, keep those chemicals out of the reach of children. And of course, I should mention, never smoke or eat when handling any type of hazardous material. And dispose of safely. Never pour chemicals down the sink, the stormwater drain, or onto your ground. Do not, or in your backyard lake. Do not place hazardous materials for trash pickup. Go to those places, and every county has them in the state of Florida, where you can drop off those hazardous waste items. And of course, reuse, recycle whenever possible. So how do we go green? And I know we're coming close to our 1 o'clock time period, and we have a few more slides to go. So if you need to drop out, I completely understand, but thank you for joining me. For those of you that are staying, the next step, go green. So here are some things that most likely you have already in your pantry: baking soda, vinegar, lemon juice or lime juice, whether it's from a bottle or from the lemons and limes themselves, borax, washing soda, Castile soap, hydrogen peroxide, beeswax, table salt, and maybe you have some essential oils as well. So where can we find these ingredients? And again, I should point out that these ingredients you do not need to purchase in a non-generic form. Go for the generic. It's cheaper and they're just as effective. When we talk about white vinegar, always look for 5% acidity, because that 5% acidity will not only sanitize, but it will also help kill mold. Vinegar is a mild acidic, and it will kill many mold species. And there are, again, some certain proportions that you need to use. And all these items, lemon and lime juice, can be found in borax, washing soda, in your laundry aisles, and so forth. So it doesn't like, if you don't have these items readily available in your pantry, they are easy to find in the marketplace. So where can you use these safe alternatives? In your kitchen, in your bathroom, living room, laundry room, garage, in your garden, and also for pest control. And if you haven't done so already, please private chat me. Go to the chat box, click on the downward arrow, find the MJP Romito, and type in your email address. I'll be happy to send you all the supporting documents, or email me directly, and I can send you those documents at mjpromito, ROMETO, at ufl.edu. So there are some things with using green cleaning products that you have to consider, right? You're going to need to use a little bit of elbow power, elbow grease. So increase pressure with cleaning. You're going to have to be a little bit patient, because green cleaning alternatives are not going to work as quickly as other products. They're not going to be a spray on, wipe off event. When we think about closing up our Florida home and getting rid of mold, we do use a vinegar water mixture where you would spray that on, say, for example, your shower area, and you need to let it set for 5, 10, 15 minutes before you take that firm brush and wipe it away. So you need to use patience. You'll need special tools, right? Some spray bottles that you can get at a cheap, inexpensive store or at your grocery store. You need a very firm brush. You might want sponges, or use some of those old dish towels that you were going to give away, or old washcloths to use. And make sure that you label every bottle with that cleaning mixture, and you might want to date it as to when you created that mixture. Items that you probably clean, but maybe you never really thought about it. But really, you should be cleaning your remote, your television remote, your computer keypad. If somebody's sick in your home, definitely the doorknobs and the television remote. But you also want to clean your shower heads because mold begins to build up. Air returns and air conditioning duct vents, window coverings such as draperies and blinds should be vacuumed and cleaned. And reusable bags for your groceries for errands should be washed. And many times people complain, well, after 3 or 4 washes, my bags started to tear and so forth. Yes, they're not very durable, but you should be washing them for more for food safety, for cross-contamination. And do you ever consider washing your welcome mat or any type of washable rugs? Many times people wipe their feet on that doormat and then remove their shoes once inside. And really, that's the best way to keep allergens and dirts and oils and debris from being brought into your home. So having people remove their shoes is a great habit to get into. Keep bathrooms well ventilated, repair leaks and drips, clean mold as soon as possible. Wash common areas often, such as your faucet handles and light switches. Wash your pillows and beddings and mattresses and mattress pads regularly. They say about once a month. Replace furniture and car seats if the upholstery is torn because of that off-gassing. Use a microfiber cloth and damp towel to dust. And don't allow anyone to smoke in your home. Another takeaway message: purchase environmentally friendly products and look for those appropriate logos that we talked about. Only purchase what you need. Read the label before you buy it and try to avoid those toxic products. Share leftovers with your neighbors, friends, or community groups. If your neighbor wants to use all those chemicals in their home, perhaps consider giving them those products. Create safe substitutions and easy alternatives and label them correctly. Some other takeaway messages: use and store and dispose chemicals safely. Take those chemicals to those depositories over in your county. Use green cleaning products and equipment and methods whenever you can. Not everything you're going to do is going to be considered green. But even if you make a small change, using small things or creating just a few of the products and using those as an alternative, you're helping your health and the environment. Read the labels, be aware of greenwashing marketing strategies. Consider purchasing a household plant. Remove clutter from your living area. Green practices help keep you and your family healthy without harming the environment.